Article 1. The Rise and Fall of the Indus Valley Civilization. The Indus Valley Civilization, also known as the Harappan Civilization, flourished in the northwestern regions of South Asia from approximately 2600 to 1900 BCE. It is regarded as one of the world's earliest urban civilizations, alongside those of Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt. With its advanced city planning, standardized weights and measures, and a still undeciphered writing system, the Indus Valley Civilization remains an enduring subject of archaeological and historical intrigue. The civilization extended across what is now modern-day Pakistan and northwest India, encompassing over 1,000 settlements, including major urban centers like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. One of the most remarkable features of the Indus Valley Civilization was its sophisticated urban planning. Cities were laid out in a grid-like pattern, with streets running at right angles, suggesting the presence of a centralized authority capable of overseeing large-scale municipal planning. Residential and public buildings were constructed using standardized baked bricks, indicating a uniform building code. These cities also boasted advanced drainage and sanitation systems, with covered drains lining major streets and individual homes, often equipped with private wells and toilets, amenities uncommon in many later societies. The economic life of the Indus people was diverse and robust. Agriculture formed the backbone of the economy, with evidence pointing to the cultivation of wheat, barley, peas, and cotton. The civilization also engaged in domesticating animals such as cattle, buffalo, and goats. In addition to agriculture, trade played a vital role. The presence of seals, weights, and standardized measures suggests that both local and long-distance trade were well regulated. Goods such as lapis lazuli, carnelian, and other semi-precious stones have been found, indicating active trade with Mesopotamia and regions in Central Asia. Despite these achievements, much about the Indus Valley Civilization remains enigmatic, most notably its language. Numerous seals bearing inscriptions have been unearthed, typically displaying short sequences of symbols. These inscriptions are believed to represent a form of writing, but they have yet to be deciphered, largely because of the absence of a bilingual key, such as the Rosetta Stone for Egyptian hieroglyphs. As a result, scholars are still unable to determine key aspects of the civilization's culture, religion, and governance structure. The social structure of the Indus Valley Civilization is not entirely understood, but archaeological evidence suggests a relatively egalitarian society. Unlike in ancient Mesopotamia or Egypt, there is little indication of large palaces, monumental temples, or opulent tombs that would signify a powerful elite or ruling class. Instead, urban layouts and building styles appear to be uniform, hinting at a decentralized or collective form of governance. Some scholars posit that power may have resided in merchant guilds or civic assemblies, rather than in the hands of monarchs or religious leaders. Religion in the Indus Valley remains speculative due to the lack of decipherable texts. However, figurines and seals provide some clues. Many artifacts depict animals, trees, and anthropomorphic figures that may have held religious or symbolic significance. One seal, often referred to as the Proto-Shiva seal, portrays a horned figure seated in a yogic posture, possibly indicating early forms of Hindu deities or practices. Additionally, the widespread use of water and bathing facilities may suggest ritual purification practices, which would later become central to Indian religious traditions. The decline of the Indus Valley Civilization began around 1900 BCE, and by 1300 BCE, most of its cities were abandoned. The causes of this decline are still debated. Environmental changes such as shifts in river courses, prolonged droughts, or flooding could have disrupted agriculture and undermined urban centers. Another theory suggests that tectonic activity altered the landscape, making key settlements unsustainable. While some scholars once proposed an invasion by Indo-Aryan peoples, This theory has lost favor due to a lack of supporting archaeological evidence. Despite its eventual decline, the legacy of the Indus Valley Civilization persists. Its contributions to urban planning, sanitation, and trade systems reflect a high level of societal organization and technical skill. Moreover, elements of its culture may have influenced later South Asian civilizations, including the Vedic and Mauryan cultures. Ongoing archaeological research continues to uncover new insights, and the hope remains that one day the Indus script will be deciphered, unlocking further secrets of this fascinating ancient society. In conclusion, the Indus Valley Civilization represents a pinnacle of early urban development, characterized by careful planning, economic dynamism, and cultural complexity. Although many questions remain unanswered due to the undeciphered script and incomplete archaeological record, the civilization's achievements continue to captivate historians and scholars worldwide. Its story is not only one of rise and fall, but also of the enduring human quest for order, meaning, and innovation in the earliest phases of urban life. Article 2. The origins and impact of the cooperative movement. The cooperative movement emerged in the 19th century as a grassroots response to the social and economic challenges of the Industrial Revolution. Amid the rapid rise of factories, urbanization, and wage labor, many workers found themselves subject to exploitative conditions, high prices, and limited access to basic goods and services. In this context, cooperatives, businesses owned and managed collectively by their members, offered an alternative model rooted in mutual aid, democratic governance, and equitable distribution of profits. These principles remain at the core of cooperatives today and continue to shape their role in modern economies. One of the earliest and most influential cooperative initiatives was the Rochdale Society of Equitable Pioneers, founded in England in 1844 by a group of weavers and artisans. Dissatisfied with the poor quality and inflated prices of goods available to them, these workers pooled their resources to open a member-owned store that sold unadulterated food items at fair prices. They developed a set of guiding principles, now known as the Rochdale Principles, which emphasized open membership, democratic control, economic participation, autonomy, education, cooperation among cooperatives, and concern for community. These principles laid the foundation for the modern cooperative model. The cooperative model spread rapidly across Europe and North America during the 19th and early 20th centuries. In rural areas, agricultural cooperatives enabled farmers to access supplies, credit, and markets more effectively. In cities, consumer cooperatives provided urban workers with affordable goods and services. Credit unions, another form of cooperative, emerged as alternatives to predatory lenders by offering fair and accessible financial services. Cooperative ideals also gained traction in housing, healthcare, and education, often driven by working-class communities seeking greater control over their economic destinies. Beyond Europe and North America, cooperatives found fertile ground in post-colonial societies seeking to foster economic development and reduce inequality. In countries such as India, Kenya, and Brazil, governments supported the formation of cooperatives as tools for rural development, food security, and social inclusion. For example, India's dairy cooperatives, established through the Operation Flood program in the 1970s, helped transform the country into the world's largest milk producer by empowering millions of small-scale farmers, particularly women, to participate in and benefit from organized milk production and distribution. Cooperatives differ from traditional businesses in both structure and purpose. Whereas conventional enterprises prioritize maximizing shareholder profits, cooperatives are designed to serve the needs and interests of their members. This orientation is reflected in their governance. Members typically have one vote each, regardless of the size of their investment or patronage. Profits are either reinvested in the organization or distributed among members according to usage, rather than capital contribution. This democratic and participatory structure helps align the cooperative's goals with the broader well-being of its members and communities. Despite their advantages, cooperatives face several challenges. Raising capital can be more difficult for cooperatives than for investor-owned firms, since they often avoid external investment to preserve member control. Governance can also be complex, especially in large cooperatives where ensuring equal participation and communication among members is logistically demanding. Additionally, in competitive markets, cooperatives may struggle to scale operations or innovate at the pace of traditional businesses, which typically operate under different incentives and structures. Nevertheless, cooperatives have demonstrated remarkable resilience, particularly during times of economic crisis. During the global financial crisis of 2008, credit unions and cooperative banks outperformed many commercial financial institutions due to their conservative lending practices and member-focused missions. Similarly, in the aftermath of natural disasters or economic downturns, cooperatives have often played a central role in community recovery by reinvesting in local economies and safeguarding jobs. Their flexibility and localized governance make them especially adaptable to the needs of specific populations. In recent years, interest in cooperatives has grown alongside concerns about income inequality, environmental degradation, and corporate accountability. Social enterprises, worker cooperatives, and platform cooperatives, digital cooperatives where users control online platforms, have emerged as innovative models that merge traditional cooperative values with contemporary economic realities. These ventures reflect a broader desire to democratize the economy and redistribute power more equitably among stakeholders. The cooperative movement's continued relevance lies in its ability to balance economic efficiency with social equity. By prioritizing shared ownership, community engagement, and democratic governance, cooperatives offer a counterpoint to dominant economic paradigms centered on competition and profit maximization. While they are not a universal solution, cooperatives represent a compelling model for rethinking how economies can be organized to better serve people and the planet. In conclusion, the cooperative movement has evolved from a modest effort by 19th century workers into a global phenomenon influencing diverse sectors and societies. Its resilience and adaptability demonstrate its enduring value as a mechanism for collective empowerment and sustainable development. As global challenges intensify, the cooperative model continues to offer practical and ethical pathways for addressing inequality, promoting participation, and fostering inclusive economic systems. Article 3. The development of the calendar in human societies. The development of the calendar represents one of the earliest and most enduring attempts by humans to understand and organize time. As societies shifted from nomadic lifestyles to settled agricultural communities, tracking the passage of days, months, and seasons became essential. Calendars were created not only for practical purposes, such as determining planting and harvesting periods, but also for social, religious, and administrative reasons. The evolution of calendrical system reveals how early civilizations interpreted celestial phenomena and structured their lives around the perceived rhythms of the natural world. The earliest known calendar systems were lunar-based, meaning they followed the phases of the moon. Archaeological evidence suggests that hunter-gatherer societies, such as those in Mesolithic Europe, used rudimentary lunar calendars marked on bones and stone. The lunar month, averaging approximately 29.5 days, was relatively easy to observe and record. However, a significant challenge with lunar calendars is their misalignment with the solar year, which lasts about 365.25 days. This discrepancy often led to the gradual drift of lunar months out of sync with the seasons, an issue that many early societies tried to correct through the insertion of intercalary months or days. One of the most sophisticated early calendar systems emerged in ancient Egypt. Around 4,000 years ago, Egyptians developed a solar calendar consisting of 12 months of 30 days each, plus an additional 5 epagomenal days at the end of the year. This calendar was closely tied to the annual flooding of the Nile River, which was critical for agriculture. The heliacal rising of the star Sirius, which roughly coincided with the Nile's inundation, served as an astronomical marker that helped the Egyptians maintain seasonal alignment. Despite its elegance, the Egyptian calendar did not account for the quarter-day discrepancy, which eventually led to misalignment over centuries. In Mesoamerica, the Maya civilization developed a remarkably complex calendrical system that included multiple interlocking cycles. The two primary components were the Tzolk'in, a 260-day ritual calendar, and the Hab, a 365-day solar calendar. Together, they formed a 52-year calendar round. Additionally, the Maya used the long count calendar to track historical and mythical events over vast spans of time. Unlike many early systems, the Mayan calendar was deeply intertwined with cosmology, mythology, and royal authority, reflecting a worldview in which time was cyclical and sacred. The Roman calendar underwent numerous reforms before evolving into the modern Gregorian system. Initially based on a lunar model, the Roman calendar became increasingly unreliable, often subject to political manipulation. Julius Caesar reformed the calendar in 46 BCE by introducing the Julian calendar, a solar-based system with 365 days and a leap year every 4 years. This reform greatly improved accuracy and provided a stable framework for civil life. However, the Julian calendar still overestimated the length of the solar year by approximately 11 minutes annually, leading to cumulative errors. The Gregorian calendar, introduced by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582, corrected the Julian calendar's error by adjusting the leap year rule. Years divisible by 100 would not be leap years unless they were also divisible by 400. This reform brought the calendar back in line with the equinox and fixed the date of Easter, a key concern for the Catholic Church. The Gregorian calendar was gradually adopted by countries across Europe and eventually around the globe. Today, it is the most widely used civil calendar worldwide, demonstrating how timekeeping systems have become standardized in an increasingly interconnected world. While the Gregorian calendar dominates globally, many cultures continue to maintain traditional calendars alongside it. The Islamic calendar, for instance, is purely lunar and consists of 12 months totaling 354 or 355 days, meaning that Islamic holidays rotate through the solar year. The Chinese lunisolar calendar, which incorporates both lunar months and solar terms, is used to determine festivals and agricultural cycles. These parallel systems highlight the enduring cultural and religious significance of diverse ways of measuring time. In recent years, some scholars and activists have advocated for calendar reform to address perceived inefficiencies in the current system. Proposals have included perpetual calendars with identical monthly layouts each year, and calendars with 13 months of 28 days. However, these suggestions face resistance due to the widespread integration of the Gregorian system into legal, economic, and social frameworks. Despite its imperfections, the existing calendar remains a powerful tool of coordination across time zones, cultures, and nations. The history of the calendar is a testament to humanity's ingenuity and its desire to harmonize life with cosmic rhythms. From tracking lunar cycles to reforming solar systems, civilizations have continuously refined their methods of marking time. These innovations reflect not only astronomical observations, but also deep cultural values and social priorities. As society evolves, so too may the calendar, but its role as a bridge between the heavens and human life is likely to remain central. Article 4. The physics and applications of electromagnetic induction. The phenomenon of electromagnetic induction, first discovered in the early 19th century, has become one of the fundamental principles in modern physics and engineering. At its core, electromagnetic induction describes the process by which a changing magnetic field can induce an electric current in a conductor. This discovery, made independently by Michael Faraday in England and Joseph Henry in the United States, revolutionized the understanding of electricity and magnetism, leading to the development of many technologies that power contemporary life, including electric generators, transformers, and inductive charging systems. Faraday's experiments in 1830 demonstrated that moving a magnet through a coil of wire, or alternately, moving the coil around a stationary magnet, produced an electric current. He postulated that a changing magnetic field created an electromotive force, EMF, in the wire, and this EMF drove the current. This fundamental idea was later formalized as Faraday's law of induction, which states that the magnitude of the induced EMF in a closed loop is directly proportional to the rate of change of the magnetic flux through the loop. The direction of the induced current was further described by Lenz's law, which asserts that the induced current opposes the change in magnetic flux that produced it. The practical implications of electromagnetic induction became immediately apparent. In the latter half of the 19th century, inventors such as Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison developed electrical power systems based on generators that operate using induction. In a typical generator, mechanical energy, such as that produced by a spinning turbine, is converted into electrical energy by rotating a coil within a magnetic field. The relative motion between the coil and the field continually changes the magnetic flux through the coil, thereby generating a current according to Faraday's principles. One of the most important applications of electromagnetic induction is the transformer. A transformer consists of two coils of wire, known as the primary and secondary coils, wound around a shared magnetic core. When an alternating current, AC, flows through the primary coil, it produces a varying magnetic field, which then induces a current in the secondary coil. The ratio of the number of turns in each coil determines whether the transformer increases or decreases the voltage. This principle allows for the efficient transmission of electricity over long distances, minimizing energy loss by stepping up voltage for transport and stepping it down for local distribution. Electromagnetic induction also plays a significant role in the operation of many modern electronic devices. Induction cooktops, for instance, use rapidly changing magnetic fields to induce currents directly in the metal base of cookware, generating heat without using an open flame or electric heating element. Similarly, wireless charging technologies for smartphones and electric vehicles rely on induction to transfer energy between coils in the charger and the device, eliminating the need for physical connectors and enabling more versatile and durable charging systems. At a more advanced level, electromagnetic induction is integral to the functioning of magnetic resonance imaging, MRI machines in medicine. MRI relies on strong magnetic fields and radiofrequency pulses to align and then disturb the spin of hydrogen nuclei in the body. As these nuclei return to their original alignment, they emit radio signals that are detected by receiver coils using principles of induction. The resulting data is processed to create detailed images of internal tissues, offering a non-invasive diagnostic tool with remarkable precision. The theoretical framework for electromagnetic induction is encapsulated in Maxwell's equations, a set of 4 differential equations that describe the behavior of electric and magnetic fields. One of these equations, known as Faraday's law in differential form, mathematically expresses how a time-varying magnetic field produces an electric field. Maxwell's addition of the displacement current term to Ampere's law unified the theory of electromagnetism and predicted the existence of electromagnetic waves, ripples in the electric and magnetic fields that propagate through space at the speed of light. Despite its wide-ranging applications, the concept of electromagnetic induction also presents certain engineering challenges. For instance, rapid switching of magnetic fields can produce eddy currents in conductive materials, leading to unwanted heating and energy loss. Engineers counteract this by laminating magnetic cores or using materials with high electrical resistance to suppress these currents. Additionally, the efficiency of inductive systems can decline sharply with increasing distance between coils, posing limitations for wireless energy transfer. In summary, electromagnetic induction is a cornerstone of both theoretical physics and technological innovation. From the generation and transmission of electrical power to the inner workings of medical imaging and consumer electronics, it continues to be a source of discovery and advancement. The principle that a changing magnetic environment can give rise to electrical phenomena remains as powerful today as it was when first observed by Faraday nearly 2 centuries ago.